Have you ever wondered why eating a pack of edibles hits so much harder than smoking a joint? Well, it comes down to how our body breaks down marijuana when it's been ingested versus inhaled. And today I'm going to be diving into all of those differences. Going to be talking about why edibles can be such an intense high in comparison to smoking or vaping flower or flower oil. And then we're going to talk about how to eat edibles in a safe manner. One of the main differences you're going to notice when inhaling versus ingesting marijuana is the reaction time. So if you smoke marijuana, it's going to be almost instant. Depends on the smoking method. If you're smoking a joint, it might take a few minutes to kick in, but if you're hitting a bong, it's going to be pretty much immediate. You're going to feel those effects much quicker, whereas when you eat edibles, it can take up to an hour to kick in, or even sometimes up to multiple hours. And that's why people, will fall into the trap of eating edibles, being like, oh, they're not doing anything, and then they eat more edibles and then they double dose and then end up getting way too high. I will have a video coming out in a few weeks on how to properly eat edibles, so if you guys want to hit the like and subscribe to stay tuned for that, I would appreciate it. And yeah, make sure to check that video out when it drops. It's a little bit more informative on how to eat edibles, whereas this video is just focusing on the differences between consuming marijuana via ingestion versus inhalation. And like I said, the main difference is going to be reaction time, but also intensity. So weed is going to kick in much quicker, and you're going to hit that peak much quicker. When you smoke, you kind of get as high as you're going to get fairly quick. Like if you rip a bong, you're going to be as high as you're going to be until you hit the bong again, if that makes sense. Whereas edibles, you can eat a certain dose and not really understand how it's going to affect you, and you're not going to understand how long it's going to take for those edibles to kick in. I could eat these, and I eat these all the time, and I have a fairly good experience with these, or like familiar experience. I know that these will kick in about 20 to 30 minutes. It says 30 minutes on the back of the bag. It boils down to smoking being a little bit easier to manage and to know what to expect than eating edibles. When you eat edibles, it is first absorbed by the intestines and then is metabolized by the liver. So there's much more of a process there. It's much more time consuming, as I was just mentioning. The liver also converts THC into 11-hydroxy-THC, which has longer lasting effects, which are also typically more intense, which gives us our answer that I asked at the beginning of the video. Why are edibles so much more intense, or why can they be so much more intense? It's because it literally changes in our stomach into a different chemical, and that chemical reaction is just stronger for our bodies to process. But what that means is there are also other factors that play into eating edibles. That's why everyone has a different experience. Like I can eat 100 to 200 milligrams. That might be way too much for some people. That might not be enough for some people. Everyone's metabolism is different. The way everyone's bodies breaks down some of these compounds is different. So take edibles, at your own rate. Don't ever feel like you should be eating a high dose because someone else is. Make sure you're eating something that you feel comfortable with and something that you will want to do again in the future. If you're someone out there who has not tried edibles, definitely watch my video that I have coming out on how to eat them, but all I can say is don't overdo it when you eat edibles. You want to have a good experience for your first time. Even if it's very mild, that's better than, you like freaking out and having an anxiety attack for like an hour or two. So we want to avoid that at all costs. So, if you are eating edibles and you're used to smoking, it is a different experience. It can be much more intense, especially depending on how much you eat. And whereas smoking, like you can hit a ceiling. Like if you smoke the best weed in the world, there's a certain ceiling that you can eat or hit that you can hit. If you just keep eating edibles, like there's no limit on how high you can get. Like you might just end up falling asleep, passing out, but like you could eat like thousands of milligrams of edibles and just be tripping balls pretty much. Like I've eaten like 750 milligrams of edibles, and it is like a psychedelic experience to some extent. So yeah, don't overdo it. Play it safe. Keep in mind that your body does break it down differently than smoking, and it is going to be a different experience. So there we have it. That is why edibles hit different. I love edibles. Give them a try. Just do it safely. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.